Alright, hello. So in this video we are going to have a quick look at some of the more interesting language from Unit 6. So if you have a look at your textbooks, so if we look at the reading for Unit 6 and just have a quick look for blame, and specifically look for any of the collocations, so any connected language, and think about what it means in this case, because I've noticed over the many years I've lived in Korea that blame seems to have a slightly different nuance or slightly different use in Korean than in English. So sometimes it's used in quite an unusual way. So have a look at that. So that's in paragraph 1. Have a look at run into trouble. So this is a lexical phrase. This is a chunk of language. We can think of it as one piece, run into trouble. So that's paragraph 6. And have a look at end up, which is paragraph 8. Okay, so I'll give you a minute. Just have a look at those in your books. Okay, look for any connected language. Think about meaning. Okay, so just take a moment. Alright, so hopefully what we can see is, so we have blame. So to think something is somebody's responsibility, or to say something is someone's responsibility, or we are assigning fault, assigning responsibility. So it is not used to mean complain or to have a bad feeling, a general bad feeling about somebody. It is specifically about responsibility for a problem. Okay, so responsibility for something bad, responsibility for some kind of negative situation happening. All right, I've never quite got exactly the nuance difference in Korean, but frequently in writing or in presentations, it seems to be used in a different way. Okay, but I'm not quite sure the difference, to be honest. Okay, so we have blame, and we also have run into trouble. So in this case, run into is to experience something unexpectedly. Okay, so no planning, it's unexpected. So if we think about run into a friend, okay, so this means that you are out, you're walking in the city, and unexpectedly you see your friend walking towards you. So run into. So in this case, run into, that's not two separate words. These are, it's called a phrasal verb. So both of those words are needed in order to have that meaning of to experience unexpectedly. Okay, so quite often it's used with trouble. So run into trouble, or run into problems, or run into issues. So quite often the collocation is for negative things, right? You are not expecting a problem, you are not expecting a fault, but you experience it without planning, so unexpected. Okay, so that's a specific meaning. So this is very different to run into something. For example, run into a building. It's the same two words, but it's a different meaning. Those words are separate. Run. Into is just the direction, and then the building is the place that is into. All right, and last one is also a phrasal verb. So we have end up. So end up is to eventually do something, eventually experience something. So it's the kind of the final part of something, but the nuance is that it is not planned. So the nuance is that it is not planned. So for example, we ended up selling the car because it was too expensive. The nuance there is that you did not plan to do that. You had actually a different plan, but you sold the car. You did not plan to do that. Okay. So maybe you were looking for a nice place for a picnic, but we ended up going home because we could not find anywhere for a nice picnic. So yeah, end up, it's the how something finishes, the conclusion of something, but the nuance is that it is not planned. Okay, let's look at some more collocations. So if we actually have a look at part B, and this section actually has some really interesting collocations for us. So firstly, if we look at pace, so number 6. Number 8, rely on. Okay, again, notice it's another phrasal verb. It's a combination. Proof. Okay, so just take a quick moment. So have a look for the words or phrases that contain those words or are connected to those words. I'll give you a moment. Okay, so if we look at pace first. So we have at a quick pace or a brisk pace. So we know that brisk is between normal and fast. Okay, so if we think of walking at a normal speed, walking at a fast speed, brisk is kind of in the middle there. So not super fast, but faster than you normally walk, right? So this is a very common expression, phrase, collocation. So we have at a quick, brisk pace. So we can really put most speed words in there. At a slow pace, a quick pace, a scary pace. So we can put other words in there, but quick and brisk are very common. All right, next, let's look at rely on. So in this case, we can actually separate out the phrasal verb. And this is another difficult part of phrasal verbs, that some phrasal verbs can be separated. So rely on, and other phrasal verbs cannot be separated. So in this case, it can be separated, and you can put in the amount. So rely a lot on, rely a little on, rely too much on. So yeah, we can split it and we can put inside the amount that you rely on something. All right, and proof. So the verb for proof is find. Okay, so the idea of searching for evidence, searching for proof. And the preposition is for. So for something. Yep. So find proof for ghosts. Find proof for a crime. Okay, so find. Okay, so we can also use the verb search as well. So search is looking for proof, and then find is the end of the search. Okay, so this was just a quick look at the vocab, the collocations and phrases from Unit 6. All right, thanks a lot.